yeah, well, look, we're just committed to getting things done, and we're committed to this interview because the fact that we've been stopped in so many different ways tonight means we have a powerful story to share, and we're going to share it. By hook or by crook, come hell or high water, it's happening tonight, and we're going to record it as well. We're going to record, actually recording it now, and we're going to share this around as many as you can. This is inspirational stuff because, first of all, my name is Colin Gallagher. For those who may or may not know me, I'm an energy distributor together with my wife. And what is that? Yeah. Agne who? So look, it's been a blast of a journey so far. We've met so many amazing people along the way, and one of the most amazing people we've met so far is Agne Janole.
Janole, Colin, Janole.
Janole, right? Tomatoes, you know.
Lithuanian, Latvian, Polish, whatever.
So look at yeah, Agne is an inspirational story. If you want to know what it takes to be a success in this business or any other business that matter, this is the story for you. This business is simple, but it's definitely not easy. It challenges you in every way and some unexpected ways as well. So we've known Agne for the last, 10, 15 years. We've been through a lot together. Yeah, and she's married to EJ, awesome guy, and she has 3 kids, Noya, Royas, and Dami. Dami's the boss. And yeah, together they're creating an amazing business and changing our lives. So she hails a whole way from Lithuania via Kerry over to Carrick and Shannon. It's been a trip and a half. So look, without further ado, we're going to get on to and welcome Agne Janole onto the stage here. Let us share your amazing story. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Again, part 4, is it?
I think so, yeah. Take 4.
Take 4, yeah.
If it was a movie, it wouldn't be that bad. Take 4 wouldn't be that bad.
So Agne's just gone 5A and she's powering away to 6A. The next interview you see here will be the 6A interview, right? But in the meantime...
In a few months' time, you meant?
Yeah, exactly. Just 2 months time. There's going to be a big party as well. But yeah, so look, I just want to interview Agne at this stage because there's so many new people within the group in Ireland at the moment and elsewhere looking to trying to get some inspiration, but you know, maybe they made the right decision, maybe they made the wrong decision. You know, how can I get going? How can I get started? You know, am I doing the right thing? All that kind of thing. So this is why I'm interviewing Agne. She's got a powerful story to share. She's been through the challenges, been through the obstacles, and met at the far side. So Agne, welcome, welcome, and welcome. And look at how did it all start? How did you get from Lithuania to Ireland anyway, and to Energy?
Yeah, so thank you first of all. I feel really it's a pleasure and I feel honored, and I know it's a powerful story for me, and I do hope that someone will see some value or resonate or get something out of that, because my journey or our journey with EJ actually is yeah, definitely roller coaster with ups and downs and struggles, and I don't know how deep I will share, but there were some moments that every time I think about it, you know, I get teary and it makes me cry. So yeah, how did I get here? 15 years ago it's been, so I feel I'm half Irish now at this stage. In 2005, I met EJ back in Lithuania, fell in love madly, both of us. In 2 weeks' time, I took a year off college, quit my job, rang my mom and said, "Mom, I'm going to Ireland. I'm following this boy," and left everything and came to Ireland. Yeah, I was almost 22 then.
Wow, my God. So yeah, so look at what was your journey? So like you come across as somebody who's always wants to be, you know, ticking the boxes, you know, trying to be the best you can be. How did that come about? I mean, how did that happen?
Well, how that happened, that's another story, because we have stories from our past, from our childhood experiences. And yes, my strongest what's the trait, or how should I call it? I really have this perfectionist thing that I want to tick all the boxes and do the things right. So as you all know, I think all of you have been taught by parents and by teachers that we have to make sure we go to college, finish school with the top marks, go to college, and then you'll get a perfect job with a perfect salary and live a perfect, long, and happy life. And I was doing all these things actually, and I was ticking all the boxes and graduated school with the top marks. And it took me 10 years to graduate from college with my honors bachelor's degree, but I was very persistent. Same as with this interview today. I was very persistent. I'm going to do that because I was like, really, this is my goal and this is where I need to get. I always had that desire that I always knew I want to be a mom, and I always had a desire that I want to be just a powerful woman and have a career. So I always imagined my life as a, picture perfect with all the things ticked off.
Yeah, brilliant, fantastic. So what brought you to Enagic? I mean, so what was the catalyst that basically had you have to look at something different?
Yeah, so I don't know how much of my story you heard already, but as I said, so it took me 10 years to graduate from college. And then I eventually thought, well, okay, now I'm going to get a perfect job. And I always wanted to get into the wedding industry. No one wanted to give me a job, even with a diploma. So I had to do the internship and work for free for another 6 months. Oh. Finally got the job that I wanted to get. And about 2 years into that, I was like, what the heck? This is the way it's going to be. Working about 65 hours a week, always on the weekends, 15 hours Friday, 15 hours Saturday alone, because it's all the wedding season and all the working in the busy hotels. So it was always very, very busy there. And yeah, so working lots of hours, not seeing my family, not seeing my kids. I had 2 kids at that time, and still having little money. Wasn't satisfied with what was I earning. And as I said before, the penny dropped for me strongly when my son, 6 years old at that time, he said, "Mommy, how come you're always working when we're off?"
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
I actually
that was one straight to the heart right there. That must have just stopped you in your tracks.
It really, really did. I still didn't change anything at that time, but it really, really, that was a painful moment when I realized, because I knew that they were not seeing me, because they were in school, and by the time they were back from school, I was at work, and when they were off on the weekends, I was working from early morning to late night. So I knew that, but when I understood that they actually knew that and they realized that, that was really, really painful. But as I said, even then, I didn't make any change. It was in my mind always that it's not the way it should be, but I didn't change anything. And then I was on maternity leave with my 3rd child, and I was let go of my perfect dream job with a not so perfect salary. So life was actually making all possible detours for me. And there was a few situations in life that was actually making me like, you have to change, you have to change, you have to do something, you have to do something, you have to do something differently. So the last thing was when on the maternity with Adamas, I was let go of the job. And Adeline and Colin, actually at that time, you joined Enagic, I think about a year ago, wasn't it? Or 6 months ago. Brand new as well, brand and fresh. And yeah. Adeline was really dragging me into the business. She was like, girl, you have to do this. This is for you. That's what you need to do. The life is making all the decisions for you. You actually have to do it.
Yeah.
So that's how Enagic came about for me.
Wow, okay. Yeah, because we always seen you as something much bigger than a 9-to-5 person. We all, not there's something wrong with 9-to-5, yeah. But we all knew that you were your own woman.
Yeah.
Like you were your own person, and you needed something much bigger, a vehicle much bigger than just some job that you clock in and clock out of. So yeah.
And I knew that because as I said before, myself and EJ, we always wanted to have a business and to do something for ourselves, by ourselves. And we dabbled in 5 different businesses, to my knowledge.
Oh.
At the different times. We never started it properly, but there was business plans written and the domain names bought and, you know, the company registered, all these startup things were done. We never done anything properly. So we always wanted to do something, but for me, that employee mentality, I think, was so strong. And that message from the parents and from the teachers was so strong that you actually have to be in the job, in the good job, to have a good living and, you know, to earn kind of proper money. Like, it was so ingrained into me. And even my sister now, she's only 18. She's in college at the moment. And I always said to her, I said, it doesn't mean you have to go through college. You actually don't have to go through college to have a good life and to earn a good living. It's a great experience. And I don't get me wrong. I personally enjoyed studying, but it doesn't mean that if you graduate, that's it, you're done, you're sorted. Or if you're not going through college, that's it, you're a total loser. That doesn't mean that either. Whereas we all were taught, at least, I don't know, maybe it's different here, but I think it's here the same. We were taught that you have to go to college and you have to graduate and you have to tick the boxes to live a good life.
Yeah. Yeah, because that's the safe option.
Yeah.
That is the safe option, you know. God, you might just take a risk, you know. And look, we're not here audition college, audition jobs or anything, but there are other options. Yeah. And as you said, Agne, if you fail at the conventional route to market, you're not a failure. That option hasn't worked out for you. Yeah. So you were bold enough and brave enough to look at something different. Yeah. So when you came to an Agne and we're kind of waving the flag for you over here, what was it for you? Was it the product or was it the business that had you come in?
Yeah, so you were waving this flag and I was like, okay. If you say so. I actually had a massive respect for you because we had a great friendship, and I did. If it was for different people, I probably would have not got into network marketing business at this stage yet. I think it would have still come in my life, I would assume, probably my 50s or something. But it's because I had a great respect for you and love and all the emotions. I kind of saw, well, yeah, maybe that's the thing for me. So I joined Agne only for the business. It wasn't the product at all for me. We've tried the water. We like the water, but I'm like, water is water. And we bought the machine without seeing the demo because of the business opportunity. I actually went, the first demo I've seen was at the yoga studio, if Adeline remembers. She was doing the event there at Soul Space, and that was the first time I've seen the demo after we had the machine.
Wow. So there you go. She didn't have a demo.
Yeah, I know.
She drank the water, I think. She was seeing the vision of what's possible for herself and family. And it was a business opportunity for Agne that had her come in here. So just again be aware of who you're talking to, and what is, listen to them, listen to what's important for the person you're talking to. So that's a big one there. So tell me, so you came into an Agne, you got your machine, so everything was easy peasy. You went flying to 5A, no problems, no obstacles.
Yeah. We had so much fun with Adeline because at the beginning we were driving around and going to the demos and appointments and not getting sales ever, but we were having our lunch and our wine. We had lots of fun. But it was such a struggle for me. The amount, we've got the machine in April 2016, so that's 4 years ago. I lost my train of thought now. So it's 4 years ago, and I'm only achieving 5A now. For a lot of you, it may seem really slow, and it was really slow. But it's only because of the things I actually had to overcome, learn, push through.
Well, look, I mean, like people talk about having obstacles and reasons for not doing something, but you come in the whole way from Lithuania, English wasn't your first language, right?
Yeah.
You had very little warm market. You had only a very small circle of friends. You know, you had never been around and like network marketing before. You were an employee mind person.
Yeah.
You weren't really mindset wise at that stage. So you had a lot of growing to do. You had a lot of stuff to submerge. So this is the bit I'm loving here, because so many people out there are going, oh my God, how do I do this? So, you know, how do I get over this problem? But you had so much more to deal with, but yet you still kept going. And if the one lesson here is persistence is key. Persistence and self-development is key. And that's what you took on developing yourself. So tell me, that was your situation. So how did you start reaching out to people? How did you get your first sale, right? And how long did it take?
My first sale was in September. So I had 3 sales in the first year. I actually had my numbers. I shared that on the last training one time in Dublin. I earned €210 in the first year.
Wow, big
numbers. Huh? And we definitely drank and spent on lunch way much more with Adeline than that.
That could be the thing that took you so. That's why it took you so long. Because so many drinking wine. But anyway, so how did you start reaching out initially? How did you get your business going? How did you get that first sale?
Yeah, so it's exactly like what you said. For me, the biggest thing, and still I think it was actually to, first of all, to grow that confidence, to be okay that if I speak with a little bit of broken language. I said actually to Angela one time, I says, oh, I made so many mistakes because if I watch my videos, I never change so much, but I can hear the mistakes that I make afterwards. And she says, oh, but it's so cute when you talk like that. With your accent. She says, it's so cute. So I'm now gonna go with that line. It's so cute. But yeah, so I really, really had to learn so many things to be okay that English is not my first language. I actually have to expand my vocabulary loads and loads and loads about the water, about the business, about commissions, upline, downline, sideline, commissions, and all these kind of things. But one of the biggest things probably was to learn to leave that employee mentality, and that's really hard. And I'm now at the stage where I can see that I'm unemployable because I couldn't work for anyone else. But I still sometimes would like that check at the end of the week when you don't do much and you get a check at the end of the week.
Much bigger checks coming.
Yeah.
And
but
so yeah. Mm-hmm. So how difficult was it at the start just to get that thing going? You know,
it was very hard for me because I like everyone always says, make your list and start making your calls. And I'm like, make a list of the 5 people around me. Make calls? Are you fucking kidding me? So I really, really had to overcome all these obstacles. And even now still, I kind of feel that there are, you know, like you have to do your prospecting. You can also do your marketing. You can do your marketing on social media. You can do your marketing with emails. And of course, you need to do your prospecting in order to be getting your kind of your check at the end of the week now. So the way I was doing events was one of the bigger things for me, as I said, because I didn't have much of the warm market. Okay. I tend not to approach my family. But again, that's another thing. When people see you sticking with something for long enough, I had quite a few sales like that they come about eventually and ask you about it. So, and especially the family, and I always would recommend for everyone probably not to approach the family because they are the first ones to judge and the first ones to like, who are you to talk about the water and what do you know about the water? But yeah, it took me almost a year for my mom, 10 months later, for my mom to come around and say, so yeah, tell me more about this water. But I never approached her. So I was talking with a few people on Facebook and things like that. But the events, that's where the first sale happened to me, is actually at the trade show. strokes down. So when
Oh,
you
really?
have a
Was it?
stand and we were talking and trying to get the leads. And then because when you're at the trade show, in a way, no one is judging you. No one knows how long you're in the business. No one knows how good or bad you are at it. Yeah, and it's all about smiling and building relationships and having a small chit chat. So that's mainly the trade shows and talking with a few people I know. Adeline is asking me what kept me going and why. Can I answer that question?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to know.
Yeah, Adeline is asking me here in the chat. She says, what kept you going and why? What kept me going, so circle of people in the business. And we have the most amazing team, I feel. And I know, Nikki, you're getting your awesome team, which is brilliant, and Sinead and the whole lot of you. We have an amazing team. So the people around our circle, our main core group, that what really kept me going. Because I used to come on our coffee mornings, and Jerry remembers that, I think. I'm like, oh my gosh. No sales. I cannot do cold calling. I cannot do this. What I can do follow-up. I'm really good at follow-up. Adeline taught me the follow-up, and I'm a queen of follow-ups, and I get sales in that way. But
the thing is, but I see, you know what, your unstickability is what kept you going, you know, and you just kept showing up to the coffee mornings, and regardless how you felt, you still kept coming in. Even though some mornings you just felt that high, you just felt deflated because maybe some other team members who come in since you had quicker results, and that kind of
yes, Jerry.
Jerry, you're comparing. Compare-itis is a big no-no in any business or in life in general. If you start comparing yourself to others, you're gone. Because there's no comparison, because everyone has different stories and different backgrounds.
Yeah.
And so you compare yourself to Jerry, you compare yourself to Nikki, it's just not applicable.
Yeah.
So the only one you're competing against in life and in this business is yourself.
Yeah.
Just your own actions, your own yesterday's actions or whatever. But you kept going. Your unstickability, your persistence, how you keep showing up all the time. That was inspiring for me, you know, because I could see you. We could see your greatness, you know, always. But we also were very keen and aware that you had a lot of stuff to work through. So how important do you think some of the new people on here tonight? How important is creating a proper culture? You know, is that one of the keys to success, you think?
Definitely. As I said, the core group around me was the main motivator, because every time, and that consistency, as you said, so every time something in place. So we have the coffee mornings, which are not available now, but that was one of the things. Every Monday I knew I would go to the coffee morning and I would get a bit of a lift. And I would get a support there, and there would be months and months I wouldn't have sales, but I'd still go. There was like, I would probably able to count on my fingers how many coffee mornings I've missed. I would still be there all the time, and every time you go you get something, but every time you go you definitely get a support, you get the love, you get the nice cuddles and nice coffee, and it just that environment, that culture, as you said, being around those people who think similar, like-minded people. And then the self-development, because the self-development in this business is definitely the key, or any network marketing business, I think. And the biggest part of all the work that I've done in the last 4 years is probably working on myself, self-development, and listening to the right people, listening podcasts, reading the books, and just plugging in that all the time. Because otherwise we can get dragged into all the stuff and all the negativity all the time. So plugging yourself back in is very, very important.
And tell me, like, can you give some examples of the different types of self-development that you did? What kind of programs did you do? What kind of books did you read? So maybe people get some inspiration from that.
Well, I'm a real bookworm, so anything that's suggested out there, I would read. Big Al is great for the big words, so I like his books, and the books are tiny, so it's very easy to read. You actually have to study them. It's not only skim reading. You have to study the words, because that's another thing. The way we talk is one thing, but to kind of tap into people's psychology and help them to make that right decision before they even see the demo. That's the key. And to do that, you have to know the words to use. So the way I'm talking to you, I wouldn't be talking to the prospect that way. You need to know the words that you're using to actually tap into that. So the Big Owl, what else? Who else? Think and Grow Rich, we're all analyzing that book. Eric Worre, the podcasts again of Ray Higdon, Eric Worre, Richard Blisbrook, Oprah, for just kind of more of the, again, self-development, motivation, not so much network marketing. Mel Robbins, I love Mel Robbins, her 5-second rule. I need to use that often enough. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Because otherwise I would be
Yeah, wonderful. Yeah, so like self-development is key. You can only grow, your business can only grow as much as you grow.
Yeah.
And two is once you keep showing up, regardless, see, feeling like it has nothing got to do with it. Like feeling like it, if you're waiting to feel like doing this business or feel like doing anything in life, you're going to be waiting a long time. For the one day you feel like it, there's going to be 10 days you won't. Right? Yeah. It's showing up on the 9 days you don't feel like it. That's when you start growing the business. And that's what Agne done. Right? That's what kept Agne in the game. She kept showing up. She kept plugged into the mothership, the WhatsApp group, the coffee mornings. Any event that was happening, Agne was there. So again, these are all the things that everyone, if they take on board, success is guaranteed. Like you can't miss it. Right?
It will take you a long time, like it did for me. It's still taking a long time.
Hasn't taken a long time compared to what?
Yeah.
You know what? The top earner in the Magic, JV, I think his name is JV. Sorry again? JV Pacifico, right? He's a top dog in the Magic, top earner. He did 145 demos before he got his first sale. 145 demos. How many of us would have lasted 20 demos? Never mind 145, right? Yeah. Listen to this. This 145th guy who bought the machine, give it back to him. Can you imagine? So lads, you know what? Everyone gets obstacles and challenges, and it's what you do with them that counts.
Yeah.
As long as you keep showing up, you keep learning. You learn. There's no failures here. You learn as you learn, as you learn as you go, and you only fail if you decide that's it. If you quit, right? So don't quit. Just go and keep learning, keep expanding, and as Agne is proof here, things happen. Okay. So Agne, what stage of the game did you really start believing this was possible? When did it really begin to feel real for you?
Do you know what? Actually, I think when I reached 4A was a time, because who was that? Michelle Riley or someone said, really? I think it was her who said 80% of 4As become 6A. And I was like, yay! I'm gonna get there. So that was one point. And then again, I shared that with the group in the training. But this time, January, I think, when I looked through the books and I calculated how much I've earned in 2016, 17, 18, 19, I've seen the numbers growing. So even now, I still feel that I'm not, the sales are not coming and not as quickly as I would like them to come. But when I checked the figures, the increase was like 10 times, 5 times, 8 times more than the previous year. And then for me, it was like, oh, okay, good. It's all good.
Yeah, we're moving. So tell me, so that's, great stuff so far. So what do you think was your biggest challenge so far that you've had in this business?
My biggest challenge is still actually prospecting and picking up the phone and calling people. I just don't like doing that. That's really, really tough. But again, like we've discussed that many, many times, if you want to have this business, you have to make sure you're doing the prospecting and the marketing, both of them. That would work ideally. And it's all about, you know, like training yourself, learning how to do things in some kind of shape or form, and finding your own way. So I started sending messages, so it's a bit easier for me than picking up the phone. Everyone has to find their own way. I don't think there is one way that every network marketing business should be done. Everyone can find their own way, what works for them. But it's being consistent and taking some kind of action to move your business forward daily. That's the most important thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's absolutely consistency. Persistent consistency is the thing. And it doesn't matter. See, the whole thing is people think, oh, I have to be doing 100 calls a day. No, you don't. If you just do 2 calls consistently a day over a period of a year, you can have a certain amount of results.
You're going to make 700.
So, I mean, look, even one a day, I mean, one new guy, one follow-up a day, even that over a period of time will add up to a result, right? So it all depends what is a few. Is it making the phone calls? Is it going to the shows? Is it a combination of online, offline?
Yeah.
There's no one shoe fits all, as you know.
Yeah.
So it's kicking ass on the social media side, growing a great brand for herself, which is also doing the meeting to edge offline as well. So it's a combination of that, and it can take time to get that balance. It can take time to get the balance into that groove, you know. And the biggest thing is, I say for people, is just give yourself time. Give yourself time and space to find your groove and grow.
And not, for me, definitely not to have too big of a goals. I know for some people, big goals really inspires. For me, the big goals, and if I don't achieve, I just get very, very deflated. So for me, I cannot have big goals. I have to have achievable enough with a little bit of a stretch. So again, whatever works for you, and if you like having the big vision and you know, driving towards, well, we all have to have the vision, of course, but I mean monthly or weekly, not too big of a goal. It definitely deflates me if I have too big.
Yeah. You can have big goals and just throw them out there, you know, and leave them there and come right back and really dissect small steps. Yeah. You know, because if you vote for big goals, weekly goals, you can fall flat in the face, and that can only discourage it. You know, as you know. You know?
And then that disease comparasitis, as you were saying, because I would come to the coffee morning, Jerry had a sale. I'm like, oh my gosh, Jerry had a sale again. Comparing myself with other people all the time. So I really had to move away from that, to stop comparing, because we're all going on our own journey. As you always say to me, you're young and you're all these kind of things and doing all these other things and have other commitments and stuff like that. So yeah, not to have the comparasitis disease is very important.
Comparasitis, just get it out of there, guys. Drop it like a hot stone. Yeah, waste of time and energy. So yeah, brilliant. So look at thinking about the whole thing so far. What was your biggest mistake so far in the business that maybe cost you time, money, energy?
Colin, I don't make mistakes, you know that.
Oh, that's AJ. Oh, AJ. Oh, AJ, either. No.
What was my biggest mistake? Probably there were some people that I really kept at the beginning, especially like some Facebook friends that I really kept dragging along and nagging them to join the business. So I don't think, like, there were a few people that I don't think that I painted the vision, or they were just not the right people for me to work with. So some of the people, you just have to really let them go and not waste your energy on trying to get them on board to either buy a product or join the business. The follow-up is the key, and always keep touching in. But I used to get so attached, especially if someone says that, yes, oh yeah, maybe I would be interested in the business, and I would get so attached and so excited, and then it wouldn't go through, and that would definitely again deflate me. So not getting attached to the outcome so much, and not getting attached to the people, and not spending too much time on a particular person if it's not moving along. So keep touching in and following up every 6 months or so, but not investing too much of energy. So I think that would be one of the biggest.
I think not only you, but I think we've all been guilty of it at some stage, wanting something more for them than they did themselves.
Yeah.
It's like looking to drag people into the business, or maybe kick people into buying the product regardless whether they want it or not.
Yeah.
And that never really works out in the long term.
Yeah.
It deflates us and it frustrates them. And I made that mistake for sure.
It definitely doesn't work. And again, another example is, I think you really have to be cool with some people, and depending on the relationship, and trying to figure out, knowing the person probably. Like I have a friend, Diana, who I never thought really she's going to buy the machine, but I was sharing the water with her at one time when she was pregnant, for her to give the best benefit. And I invited her as a friend to a few events, and she would come along to support me. And then eventually when her firstborn was born, and she knew my story about my daughter who had eczema, and that completely cleared after she started drinking the water about 6 months later. And her little baby started getting some rashes. She come to me right away saying, do you know what? Give me the prices. I want to look at that machine. So again, I could have scared her if I tried to convince her to get at any particular time before. It was never ready for her. She was never ready. It was never time for her. But because I kept her in the loop, I kept her inviting to the events, never actually really pushing the product, always saying how amazing it is, always having my bottled water with me, but never really pushing it on her. She came when it was her time, because she knew the story. She knew my story. She knew my testimonial.
And that's only something you kind of learn as you go, isn't it? You just kind of realize, Jesus, number one, I got to talk to more people, so I'm not so hung up with those 2 or 3 people all the time. And just to be loving people where they're at, and listening for where they're at, and then giving them the space to do what they need to do. That was huge. Yeah, well done. And tell me, do you have any particular ways that you have of keeping people in the loop and keeping connecting with people? What way works best for you?
Well, we use a few things. So we have a CRM as well. I think Agne did a training recently about that. So have the people on the database that we wouldn't forget. Because again, another mistake that I forgot about, I spoke with way many more people than I have on my database, because I didn't write the names down. And then you're trying to think. Actually, the other time I was putting in the phone number of the new babysitter for my 4-year-old, and I put in Pauline name, and Pauline came up, and it says Kangan Prospect. I'm like, who the hell is Pauline Kangan Prospect? So she's on my phone as a Kangan Prospect, and I have no idea who she is and where she's at. And I checked the message, and there was a message sent. I met you at the event, blah blah blah, and da 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 da. There's a few messages I sent to her. I never got a reply. And I'm like, what the hell is Pauline? She's definitely not on my database. So yeah, we have a database now, and every time we talk to someone and mention something about the Kangan, we would always add them to the database and send emails from time to time. With some people, social media, I have a few sales like that people had the demo, didn't buy there and then, but then they kept seeing my stories. And then like one particular lady, Natalie from with the essential oils, she was doing her story one time on Instagram, and she says, oh, and I'm doing this detoxification and using the oils, blah blah blah. And I sent her a message, like in that moment there was a kind of aha moment, a light bulb came up, and I was like, oh, I need to send her a message. I sent a message, well, Natalie, the best detoxification during this time, I could offer you the water trial, even though she had a water trial and she had a demo. She was there, but she just didn't buy yet, and it was kind of pushed on all the time. And I said, oh, I could just help you out and give you the trial again, because she wasn't living far away. And she said, yeah, that would be perfect. And we converted that sale, I think, in 2 weeks' time or something like that. Mm-hmm. So again, just being there and listening to other people. So I would, if there's, someone watching me and I watch them, try to listen to what's happening and if I can help. I would always offer that. Again, as giving value, more helping than just to try to get a sale. It wasn't about trying to get a sale. It was actually more of helping her at that time.
Well, man, like you've come such a long way. I mean, like the girl that came into the business, back at the start is completely different to the girl that we have here now. You're so confident now. You've grown in so many ways. You've really taken life on. And you've had a lot of bumps along the road, and you're still here. And now you're going to go on to bigger and better things. I mean, that's amazing. And anyone here on the thing that thinks this should be easier than any other business, nonsense. This is a business. This is you're creating, not just selling machines, you're creating financial freedom possibly for yourselves. This is a big game that we're playing here, and it's going to take something to make it happen. And showing up consistently regardless is one of the key things. So tell me, so that was one of the biggest mistakes. We covered that. So what was the smartest thing that you've done in your business so far?
I joined the business.
What? You joined the business?
That was the smartest thing. What was the smartest thing? There were a few things, as I said. The database, started creating database and writing the names down, not just keeping them in the head. Jerry, having a diary, Jerry. So kind of, as you said, treating this as a real business. We actually registered as a limited company from January, and from that time onwards, I started really feeling it as a business. Because now commissions go in the business account, and then you get salary paid. It's kind of more, my employee mentality is a little bit happier. But it is, you don't feel, because I used to feel that, oh my gosh, there's that bill, you have to get the water bags, you have to pay the accountant, you have to do that and the other, everything is coming from your kind of own money. Whereas when we set up as a limited company, now it's like, oh yeah, that's just the business. It's part of the business expense. So that definitely really gave another really positive thing for me to understand that this is the business, and the business has expense, and the business has a running cost.
So how do you feel? Like you're 5A now, you're well on your way to 6A. So how does that make you feel? I mean, what's the biggest thing you've gotten from all this journey so far?
It feels awesome. Everything is awesome. No, it's as I said before, it feels that the confidence has grown. I know the product very well. I can explain the product. I know the business very well. I know what needs to be there. I know what I need to do to keep moving forward. And it's just that completely different mindset. As you said, like I've grown, I know I've grown so much in so many ways. The more positivity I have in me, even though I was a positive person, but not about the career or business. I think I was so disappointed all the time that I didn't feel excited, whereas now I feel excited. I know there are it can be as exciting as you want in this business, actually. Getting 6A is very exciting. Then getting I don't know, maybe 5 distributors working for you actively, that's exciting. There's so many things that it excites. Whereas if you're just in your job, again, not making the job wrong or anything, but there's very little you can be excited about. There's very little control you have about. Whereas here we have lots of control what we can do and the goals we have.
Yeah, so you have more time, more freedom now. You have more choice now. Huh?
Definitely, yeah. That's the biggest thing. And I think Adeline was asking there, what kept me going and why. One of the things was that it's actually now I can have the time for my kids and my family. That was always very important for me, to have the time for the kids and to be able to go to their little school events and to be there to bring them to the places they need to go. And have the time for them, for EJ, have the time for myself, and have the time for the business. Because before it felt that it has to be one or the other. You have to make a choice where you're going to allocate your time. Whereas now I can definitely arrange. Even during quarantine, we have a little set schedule with EG. He works first half of the day, I work the second half of the day. So one of us are always there for the kids, and it's just it's amazing. That flexibility and time freedom it's great.
Yeah, and then financially as well, you're more secure because, you know, the more than yourselves, we had times that we just didn't know where the next few pound were coming from. I mean, how do you feel? How do you feel when you're just starting off, when you just did not know how you're going to make ends meet or get that shot at the end of the week? I mean, compared to where you're at now, what was that like back then?
Yeah, well, that's one of the biggest things you have to learn, to be okay that some of the bills will not be paid. And that you'll come back to them when you can come back to them. At the end of the day, it's not the bills that are controlling our life. We should be in control of our life. And then we make arrangements and we make deals that we have to make. We had to have lots of different unpleasant conversations, but our life is a priority at the end of the day, and to look after the kids and their needs and our needs is a priority compared to the bills. So that was another thing that I really had to learn, to negotiate, to let go, and to come back and to make arrangements and to come back when I can come back.
Cool. So tell me, so what's your vision for the future? So what does the future hold for you and your family?
The future holds for me 6A23. Then you will follow. But the biggest thing for me, it's just having that. I can never imagine myself not working. So I want to be doing what I'm doing. I really enjoy now. Yes, I would like to have more distributors. Yes, I would like to have maybe more sales and things like that. But that's coming. I know it's coming. I can see that from the results. If I look back, if I don't forget to look back, I can see that the results are coming, and it's always because of the consistent action. It's growing all the time. So I can see ourselves working happily, a few hours a day, and having lots of time for the kids and traveling. I want to be traveling a lot. Enjoying more of the sunshine, some beach somewhere more often, 5, 6, 7 times a year. Or even living somewhere for 6 months, living in Greece for 6 months and then coming back to Ireland for another 6 months, and then living in Spain for 6 months and then coming back to Ireland for 6 months.
I'm there already with you. I'm there already. So tell me, so we've got a few new people on the call tonight, just starting off on our magic journey. So tell me, what's your top 3 tips for those people?
Oh my gosh. Top 3 tips. Consistency definitely would be the first one. Be consistent and do something every day, at least one thing. Decide whatever it is for you and do that. If it is send a message a day, or meet a new person a day and then mention the business, or talk to someone, anything you can do that for yourself. You don't need to announce it to anyone else, but for yourself that you're being consistent, because otherwise those days just fly by and they disappear, and you look back and it's like, oh shoot, another week gone by. So definitely consistency. What else did I want to say? Then keep working on yourself and your self-development and kind of sharpening the skills. As I said, Big Al and things like that, Ray Higdon, the words that you can use, the questions you can ask, just sharpening your saw, sharpening the skills that you have. Having fun. Fun is really, really important. Just keeping that balance. I'm all about the balance. I talk about the balance all the time. It's a water, but it's a wine as well. It's a water and it's a coffee. And just having the balance in life. So moving away that it's not only work, but actually work and fun. You can actually work that and still have fun. So not looking at it as a chore, but trying to enjoy that journey as much as you can.
Oh, powerful. Brilliant. Yeah, fun is a big thing. You got to mix fun in there. If you get all serious and you're significant about this whole thing, it won't be a pleasant journey for you. You got to have some fun. You got to have some wine,
Yeah. But
You
even
know,
people can sense that. I know for sure, like again, talking about the mistakes, I know for sure that when I was, uh, if we're starving for money and really, really needed a sale and you go and do the demo, you're not going to get a sale. You're definitely
no,
not going to get a sale because people can sense that you're just so desperate. And then you're not having fun with them. So there's not a hope. They cannot relate. They cannot connect with you. So it's very hard to get the sale that way.
it all just leads to frustration on both sides.
Mm-hmm.
So guys, look, a great interview so far. Agne, thanks so much. Is there any questions from anybody?
Adler had another last question. How do you feel now about your future? How does life compare to you when you were working all hours in hospitality? Yeah, and I actually often think about it that I sometimes think that I'm nearly lazy now compared to the hours I used to work. Because we still have a very full day, but it's full day because we, especially now, we do the homeschooling at home, and then I do the cooking. I really am very big activist about the healthy or healthier eating and to make sure that my kids eat the healthy foods and homemade foods. So there's a lot of activity in the house, but compared to how many hours I spend on work, I really feel sometimes that I'm very lazy. And sometimes I start kicking myself. Well, if I would do more hours, maybe I would get there to 6-8 quicker. But it's not about getting there quicker. It's actually about having it all balanced out and having it for me.
Enjoying the process, enjoying the journey, yeah.
Yeah.
So tell me, before we finish up here, anyone want to jump on with some questions for Agne? You want to say anything, or Jerry's going to anything?
I mentioned Jerry too often, so he's probably going to say something now to me.
Exactly. I dropped the phone in my excitement. Yeah, I just want to say that, I've heard your story before, and I probably didn't think too much about it, if you know what I mean. But when I hear you tonight, and I realize that you didn't have a warm market when you started, my God, I'm in awe of you because you have come so bloody far. And for us, it's just amazing happening in our life. It's just incredible. I just wanted to say that. You're brilliant.
I second that wholeheartedly. So happy to call you a friend and a colleague. Well done.
Yeah, well done.
Well
yeah,
done.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Right back at you.
Yeah, like that was a big challenge. I mean, can you imagine yourself and you, Jerry, heading off to Lithuania? How will we get on over Lithuania?
Yeah, absolutely. I was just thinking that as I was going through there, as I was listening. It's just incredible. Brilliant. Fantastic.
Yeah, amazing.
Well, I hope some people will see that it is possible. And as I said many times, I know Adeline is going to kick my ass. I'm not where I would like to be in this business, but I know I've achieved really, really gone a really long way where I was in 2016. There was something else I wanted to say, forgot.
Yeah, you're a completely different person. I mean, your confidence level and your mindset is now one of possibility, whereas back in 2016 it was one of problems and obstacles, and I can't do this and I can't do that. So you've come leaps and bounds. So your next part of your journey from here on is going to be completely different. Completely different. Any other questions from anybody? Feel free to jump on and say hi or give some feedback, whatever you want to do. Anybody else? Do we all enjoy the interview so far? Yeah, fantastic. Okay, so look, just before we wrap up, Agne, what piece of advice would you give to the 12-year-old Agne? No, now. What would be the main thing?
Just dance through life.
Brilliant. Yeah. Fantastic. Agne, it was a pleasure. You're an awesome woman. You're so inspirational to those around you and those coming after you. And you know what? If anybody wants to take anything from this here, is consistent persistence wins the game all the time. Keep showing up regardless. Keep showing up regardless how things look or how you feel. You keep doing that, and there's only going to be one outcome. So my wish for everybody in this call is mega success. push through the obstacles. Like tonight, for example, is called, you know, with one obstacle after another, one stoppage after another, we just keep bloody going. So Agne, take a bow, my dear, and best wishes for your 6A journey, and please God, we'll be here in a few months' time talking to you again. And yeah, pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you so much, guys.